Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Ranking the Albums, and stuck down there. So this time I'm going to be ranking the Led Zeppelin albums, just 9 of them, going to include the Coda album, which was like a sort of bits and pieces album after they split up. Some people did them online, most people did them online, a few didn't, but... So I've been enjoying watching all the Led Zeppelin ranking videos online. Like the Pink Floyd one, there's absolutely tons of them because obviously they're such a massive band. I got into Led Zeppelin like most bands that are still my favourite really through my parents. They actually used to see them. My dad actually, I believe my dad see them at the Elric Court show in 1970. So I just got into them through that really. Before I crack on, I just want to talk a little bit about in the last. It's only really been in the last 10 years that people sort of gone on about it really, but obviously the plagiarism thing and my quick thoughts about it. Obviously, when I got into Led Zeppelin, I had no clue they were covering other people's songs or stealing people's songs or whatever you want to call it. I had no clue. I don't think most people had much of a clue. It's only sort of in the last sort of 10, 20 years that I've sort of realised anyway. My feelings, it's not great. I mean, look, there's I don't mind Robert Plant when he sort of takes the odd lyric from old songs and stuff like that, because he's obviously influenced by the blues, and I don't mind that so much, but there are definitely in their catalogue blatant steals and blatant rip-offs, which is really unfortunate, because like at the end of the day all you needed to do was credit them at the time. And I find it a bit weird that nobody really challenged them at the time. I don't know if they thought Led Zeppelin too big a beast to challenge. I think Willie Dixon was the first to challenge them in the 70s, but it's only in the sort of recent years that people have sort of challenged. I don't know if the laws changed or what, but it's like some songs just Jimmy Page puts his name in it, so and the internet helps. YouTube, obviously, you can find out that it's not a Jimmy Page original. I still think they put their own slant on it. I still think they're amazing, the songs that they've sort of pinched a bit. I still think they're amazing. It's unfortunate, but what's nice now that people, if you buy the more remastered copies, the newer copies, quite often they got the correct writer now. So the royalties go to the to the right people, which is good. But anyway, that's my 3 pence there thrown in. But so as far as the ranking goes, I think like a lot of people, my bottom 3 I'm not hugely into, don't listen to them that much, and then my top 6 are like great. So it's like you got the bottom 3 I think are okay, and then the top 6 are like great, and my top 4 are all equal. I have to rank them because that's what I'm doing here, but like my top 4 are just like equal. I'll mention it again so people don't get annoyed. Why are you ranking at 4? Well, they're all pretty much equal. But yeah, so let's start. So my bottom album at number 9 is In Through the Outdoor, in the paper bag. This is an original. It's funny actually, my sister just realised today that if you wet the inside cover, it changes colour. Mine doesn't, because I don't think it's not an original, but my sister's does, so she might have an original. It comes in 6 different covers, and you didn't know what one you would get. I've got, what have I got? I've got the Man at the Door and Woman at the Bar. But inside cover, if you wet that, it changes colour. I presume if you got original copy. But yeah, not really that keen on the album. I really didn't like it for like many years. I really didn't like it for many years. I think it's okay. There's some good songs in there. it's just the basic sound of it, you know. Obviously modern synthesizers got brought in, which I don't complain about that, you know. Obviously new technologies. John Paul Jones takes over most of the writing, so it's quite synth and sort of keyboard heavy, not really heavy in the guitars. It just lacks a bit of power in general. I think the album, it's kind of soft really, but I do like In the Evening. That's a great song. All My Love is really nice, about his obviously his son who died, and Fall in the Rain's okay, but the rest I'm not hugely into. So yeah, and you know, it's even hard to remember them actually, if I'm honest. But yeah, there you go, In for the Outdoor. So number 8. Quite often most people's bottom, but I've actually got Coda in at number 8. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, obviously not really a proper album, you know, as we all know. Great inside cover though, I do like that. Yeah, just the inside stuff. So yeah, stuff put together. It's come out in '82. Stuff put together from old tunes that never made albums. But I really like We're Gonna Groove. I think that's a live track actually, where they sort of sound like, because they used to start their concerts in the like late 60s, 70s with We're Gonna Groove. It's a cover, but really good. Another version of I Can't Quit You Babe, which I think I prefer the original actually. Again, I'm not really that keen on the rest of the album, except, and I'm amazed no one's really mentioned this on all the rankings, I think this is an absolutely killer song. And it's actually taken from the In For The Outdoor sessions. I mean, if that was on In For The Outdoor, it would have blown the whole album away, you know. Wearing and Tearing, I think, is an awesome track. It's one of my favourite Led Zeppelin songs. Just heavy, moody, you know, song about drugs, really. I just love it. Yeah, no one really talks about that song, but I think it's great. But yeah, the rest of the album is just sort of okay for me. But yeah, so there you go, In Coda. So yeah, so the next album, yeah, it's kind of interesting. What's this, number 7? It's a really stripped down album, I find, you know. They experimented a lot in the previous 2, and this was like a kind of stripped down, just straight rock album really, with no real keyboards, and it's a very Page and Plant album. I think it sounds a bit rushed maybe. You know, Robert Plant was in a wheelchair doing the lyrics. Why didn't they just wait a year and release it in '77 when they try and get better? But yeah, this is Presence. I quite like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the idea of them stripping down and doing a sort of straight rock album, but at the end of the day, you got to really have the songs, and not all the songs really do it for me. Quite a weird cover with The Object, as it's known. The Object. Obviously, the first 2 tracks are absolutely killer. The Killer's Last Stand, absolute classic, and I absolutely love Nobody's Fault But Mine. Especially the drum, the really off-kilter rhythm section in it. I just love it. Groovy but weird. And very Zeppelin, you know. Like, no one other than Bonham and John Paul Jones would think about coming out with a sort of rhythm section like that for that song. It's quite bizarre, but I love it. And I like For Your Life as well. That's a really good song. But again, the rest, not really that memorable, to be honest. I don't like. There's not too many Led Zeppelin songs I like really dislike or whatever, you know. But yeah, it's okay. But yeah, Presence. So yeah, these top 6, I love all these top 6. They're all great albums. I pretty much like everything on them. But my 6th choice actually is another album I kind of dismissed for a long time, and it was kind of dismissed by fans at the time as well, for being like too acoustic or whatever, and I sort of felt the same really. I always liked the first side. Of course, I'm talking about Led Zeppelin 3. I love the album cover with the spinny wheelie thing. Yeah, spinny wheelie thing. Pretty cool. Quite a trippy kind of album cover. So yeah, I mean, I always liked the first side. Immigrant Song is quite a heavy side. Friends I really like, great song. Even though it's acoustic, I always like that. And I love the way it goes into Celebration Day, from the sort of synthesizer straight into Celebration Day. I always loved that. Since I've Been Loving You is one of the best sort of blues rock songs they've done. And Out on the Tiles I really like as well. So that the first side, I was always like, didn't really care about the second side, but sort of in later years I really like it now. Gallows Pole's awesome. Tangerine I quite like. That's Away I like a lot. And Bron Your Ass Stomp I like a lot as well. Hats Off to Roy Harper, not so keen on, but as you can see, I just love all the albums from now on in, and this is down at 6, so yeah. But yeah, really good album, Led Zeppelin 3. And my number 5 choice, I'm wearing it. It's The Houses of the Holy. Really like this album. Really like this album. Let's gatefold it. Lovely inside cover. And Innocent Naked Children. Climbing up, it's actually Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland, which I've actually been to, so it's really cool. I think it was the first album to come with lyrics as well. Not like the lyric sheet. Yeah, this is kind of a bit more experimental, isn't it? They like tried a couple of things completely new that didn't really work, but I love the album. It's probably not as heavy maybe as some of the others, but I still love it. It's Song Remains the Same, great song. The Rain song is beautiful, one of my favourite kind of mellow songs by Led Zeppelin, a beautiful song that. Over the Hills and Far Away is great, groovy stomp of that one. But then you got that the crunge, like they're trying their funk thing, and I don't think it works personally. It's kind of silly in a way. Kind of funny, like, where's that confounded bridge? You know, it's kind of weird, you know, but Dancing Days I like quite a lot. Do You Make It or Jamaica, yeah, they had an attempt at reggae, and why not, you know. I don't like the song that much, but then one of my favourite Led Zeppelin songs ever, No Quarter, absolutely amazing song. Yeah, I love it. I probably prefer the live version, but like I love this version. It's really good, dark, moody song. Love it. And then you got the really heavy, funky The Ocean, which is great as well. Bonham's really stomping drums in it. So yeah, I really like the album. Pretty much all of it, but it only comes in at number 5. But fantastic. So, as I said before, these next 4 albums are like pretty much equal, really. I think they're 4 flawless albums, more or less. And but I've gone really more with my heart than my brain when it comes to sort of ranking them, like, you know, what I grew up with and stuff like that. Because I think my 4th and 3rd choices are probably arguably the sort of more consistent albums. But 2 and 1 choices are sort of like, they're kind of special to me, and they're still great, you know. So I'm actually putting at number 4 Led Zeppelin 4. Quite a weird cover. I never liked the cover. People, well, I mean, I say Led Zeppelin 4, it's actually Untitled, isn't it? But it's kind of weird because being the 4th album, they named their albums Led Zepp 2, Led Zepp 3, so Led Zeppelin 4. But if you think about it, if they named them first 3 albums, this would just be known as Led Zeppelin, wouldn't it? But anyway, yeah, Never liked the cover that much, but it is pretty cool when you unexpectedly open it out and it's half a building. And I found out actually that that building there is Salisbury Tower in Birmingham, and amazingly it's still there. They haven't torn it down, so if you're on the outskirts of Birmingham, you should do a pilgrimage to Salisbury Tower. I love the inside cover. I would have preferred that on the outside cover, like, to be honest. It's awesome. And I've not got it as low as 4 for most people that rank this lower. Have ranked it lower. I love the inside of the writing, and most people rank it lower because it's the most popular album and overplayed and all that. I don't really care about that so much. That's not why I've ranked it low. It's more how it attached to me. Like, I always loved the first side. I was always a massive fan of the first side, and I still love it. Black Dog, I can always hear that. It's great. Rock and Roll's awesome. I absolutely love the Battle of Evermore. That's an amazing song. I mean, I don't know how they put that together. You know, Sandy Denny doing the vocals. That's a really beautiful song. So well done. And then of course you got Stairway to Heaven. Even though it's like sort of mega overplayed, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a fantastic song. You know, the way it builds, and the lyrics you can interpret however you want. You know. I think lyrically, Robert Plant really comes into his own on this album, actually. But I was I never connected that much with the second side years ago. You know, I love Misty Mountain Hop, but the next 3 tracks I was never that keen on. 4 Sticks, Going to California, and When the Levee Breaks. I love them now. 4 Sticks. I still like 4 Sticks. Going to California, I really like, and When the Levee Breaks, awesome, you know. So it's more like Going with My Heart for the ones that are above, but like, yeah, a fantastic album, Led Zeppelin 4. So my choice number 3, I think, is probably the most consistent Led Zeppelin album for just being like great songs all the way through. Actually, it's a fantastic record, and I'm going for Led Zeppelin 2 for my number 3 choice. Never overly keen on that album cover, kind of a bit crappy. All right when you open it, the inside's all right. Inside cover. I love it. It's such a good album. It's like kind of flawless in a way, isn't it? You got like a whole lot of love. You know, you could say it's overplayed, but I still love hearing it. What Is and What Should Never Be. I absolutely love that song. The Lemon Song is probably my favourite song on the album. With Led Zeppelin, I tend to like the long ones, actually, the sort of epics. So like a lot of my favourite songs of each album are the longest songs, you know. No Quarter, Killer's Last Stand. What have I done so far? I don't know what my favourite song on 4 is. I still think probably either Battle of Evermore or Black Dog. Led Zepp 3. Probably my favourite song is what the fuck's it called? I've gone mad. Since I've Been Loving You, which is, I think, is the longest song on that album as well. So I tend to do that. But yeah, I love the Lemon Song, the bass work on it. It's just, I just love it. Thank You, I absolutely love as well. One of my favourite ballads, really heartfelt. Heartbreaker, awesome rock track. Living Loving Maid, probably the weakest track in the album, but I don't mind it, it's fun. Ramble On I really like. Folky one. Moby Dick, cool tune. Quite like the drum solo. And Bring It On Home is an awesome, heavy, bluesy number at the end. So yeah, I absolutely love Led Zeppelin 2. So yeah, so down to the last 2, and yeah, I think the reason why these are my top 2 is because I just remember them as a kid. My parents would play these 2 albums the most. Probably their favourite 2 albums as well. So I'm going to go for number 2, the awesome Physical Graffiti. And that album cover is just superb. I mean, you know, it just double album, of course, and you can turn it round and have different pictures in the window, or you can have the inner sleeve in the window that says Physical Graffiti as well. I had lots of fun as a child doing that, and also getting a bit freaked out by the pictures because it's a bit creepy, some of it. But what an amazing album, double album. Of course, they didn't intend it to be a double album. They sort of recorded a bunch of songs and then realised they went over time a bit. And what they did is they brought songs from other albums that never made the other albums, which is remarkable, really. It's just like a almost like a sort of outtake album, half of it. And can you imagine if their songs were on the original albums? You could have taken out some of them songs on the other albums and put them in to improve them. Seems mad, that. And it doesn't really sound like... There's a couple of songs that do sound like some early numbers, but it fits so well on this album. But for me, the first album alone is absolute genius. And in fact, if it was just one album and it was that first album, it might well be my number one. But the heavy stuff on this album is probably the heaviest stuff they've done. It really hits hard. The production is awesome. Custard Pie, really love that track. Great group. The Rover is awesome. I love the guitar sound on that, and just the whole track is great. But my favourite track on the album, maybe my favourite track by Led Zeppelin, is In My Time of Dying. It's just unbelievable song. Their longest on an album, I think. Just doesn't feel like it. It's just like you got that bluesy slide guitar. It's got a gospel kind of vibe to it, but when it hits into the groove, it's so heavy, you know, and fucking you can headbang to it or dance to it, do whatever you want, really. Side 2, Houses of the Holy, obviously meant to be on that album. And you can kind of tell with that one, it does sound a bit like something that would be on Houses of the Holy. Great song, though. Trembled Underfoot, groovy stuff. Great organ work, I like that. And of course Cashmere, which is an absolute classic. Don't need to talk about that one. It's not about Cashmere though, it's about his trip through Morocco. But anyway. And but yeah, back in the day, I even dismissed the second album a little bit because I loved the first one so much. But the second one has some fantastic stuff, you know. In the Light is awesome. I love that one. Spacey, trippy one. Great guitar riff. Bron-Yr-Aur was going to be on Led Zeppelin 3. Obviously you got Bron-Yr-Aur Stomp, but I love that instrumental, really good. I really love Down by the Seaside. Just a really strange sounding song. The guitar sounds kind of weird, but it sounds like someone playing at the seaside, I guess, like got an old 20s seaside vibe to it or something, but I love it. It's such a good song. 10 Years Gone, emotional song, really love that. Night Flight, catchy number. The Want On song's a really heavy one, like that. Probably the two tracks I could probably do without is Boogaloo Stew and Black Country Woman. I don't mind them. I don't mind Black Country Woman so much. They're okay, but it just gives... it's got such variety, the album, you know. I think House of the Holy has that, and 4 as well has that as well, a lot of variety. And Sick Again, kind of them getting sick of prostitutes. Come on, Elric. Well, getting sick of groupies, really, pretty much. But Sick Again, great, really great heavy song. Can't believe I called them that. Sorry about that. But my number one, you would already guessed. I mean, to be honest, on the internet, not many people pick this number one, and it's, you know, quite low down in most people's list. But it's kind of a special album to me. I understand why it's not everyone's number one. I understand the flaws or whatever, but it's just a really special album to me. It's just amazing album. It's the debut, Led Zeppelin 1. If you get the Titan with The original, I think there weren't many copies made, like a turquoise writing, probably worth a heck of a lot of money if you could get that. I think there was only something like 500 made, and they didn't like it, so they changed it to yellow. But iconic album cover, iconic album. I mean, this must. I mean, it did. It blew away people when it came out. Bands started changing their style just because this album came out. In a way, Led Zeppelin are kind of like the first, what you can consider like the first sort of cliched kind of rock band, you know, with the frontman, the guitarist, like the drummer going crazy, you know. Led Zeppelin kind of started it, really. But I love this album. I understand, like, production-wise, probably not quite there. It's quite raw and muffled, but I just like that quality anyway. And it's just, Robert Plant's, like, vocals on it are just unbelievable. And it's just a heavy album. And it starts with Good Times, Bad Times with John Bonham's insane bass drumming with 1 foot. Absolutely love that. What a start. Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. I absolutely love that song. Beautiful song. One of my favourites by Zeppelin. What I would say is most of this album is covers. Most of this album is covers, even though they don't say so. I was never huge into the two like actual cover blues numbers, but I love them now. You Shook Me, Robert Plant's focus on it, and just Jimmy Page kind of pull off licks, like little bluesy solos, really good. And then you get legendary Days Are Confused. Absolutely love that. So aggressive, so in your face, as well as being kind of, you know, bluesy and moody. Your Time Is Gonna Come. I really like that with the organ. More of a pop sort of sounding song, but really catchy. Black Mountain Side is a nice instrumental. Communication Breakdown is a real fast, heavy track that, you know, kind of Sabbath copied a little bit of Paranoid. But great song. Love it. You know, I Can't Quit You Babe. Yeah, I like that blues number. And then you get to another one of my favourite, and it happens to be the longest track on the album. He tried to compete all radio stations by saying it was 3 minutes, what's that, 3 minutes 30. But that's when it stops and starts up again, because he wanted to trick radio stations into playing it. But I love How Many More Times. Such a bluesy, dirty riff, like a bass line at the beginning. It's just so catchy. It's so groovy. And then I just love when it goes into all the different parts, into different songs, and it's just so good. So yeah, this is my number one album, but I will say my top four are pretty much equal, but this means a lot to me, this album. So my number one album is Led Zeppelin 1, or just Led Zeppelin as it was called. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. It's a quick one, because for me even, you know, only 9 albums. So yeah, just subscribe down below. It's the Grey Man channel. Check out all the content on the playlists. If you go to playlist, you can see all the other album rankings I've done. I think this might be my 6th or 7th one by now, I'm not sure. Done a couple with Graham as well. I think my next one will probably, because I finally got my Hawkwind book written, waiting for a proof copy now. I was thinking of copying my polls actually, and doing Hawkwind album rankings, starting with 70s and 80s, and just copying what I did with the polls, just to sort of promote my book a bit as well. So that might be my next album ranking. So yeah, look forward to that one. Bit cheating because I haven't split up, but you know. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching, and cheers.